we got some wobbliness going on here, which is gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And it's cold. Oh, oh, my eyes are tearing. I feel like I'm about to tell you guys about the weather. Well, I am. It snowed yesterday. It snowed last night. Hold on. Oh my goodness. You guys don't care about the weather, but I do, and I absolutely love the snow. I feel like I'm like brought. Wait, what the? Why is my eyes doing that? Do you see this? I'm getting really close to the camera. I think it's better. Okay. Alrighty. All right. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to Just in Case. And just in case you don't know me, my name is Casey. And just in case you don't know, I live in New York. And currently, I live in New York. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. But I'm crying out of one eye right now. We're going to ignore that if you're watching. If you're listening, it doesn't matter. So, let me just take a deep breath for a second because I need to collect myself. Like, I don't know why I went with this setup today, but I really just wanted to come outside and stand in the cold for some time. Enjoy the train passing by every couple minutes. If you could see it. I don't even know if you could see it from there. Hold up. Let me check. I'm gonna give us a new view. Yeah. Just, you guys care about the train, right? It's just adds another layer. Okay. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Just in Case. And just in case you don't know me, my name is Casey. And just in case you don't know, I live in New York City and the trains are going. I'm going to do great editing on this audio so you don't hear that every 10 minutes. But today I really want to start this conversation off by asking a great question. Does the process know that we're trusting it? I saw this yesterday and I was like, yeah, that's a great question. Does the process know that we're all trusting it? Because I think a lot of people are just trusting the process of things and not fully knowing what the heck they're doing. Like me right now, I feel like I'm about to like give you guys a news update. Not a news update, a weather update or something like that. I kind of am. It snowed last night and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's cold outside, which I love. And I've come a long way because I was diagnosed with seasonal depression when I was 14. And it wasn't until I moved to San Diego when I was 18, 19, actually 19. It was it was the day after my 19th birthday that I moved to San Diego. I thought that I would just not be depressed anymore because there's not seasons on the West Coast like there is on the East Coast. Well, it turns out I just had depression. It was not by the seasons. I was just depressed. And that is something that I experienced back then, and I could say I've gone through phases where like the depression's worse than others, but I'm really not a depressed person. I've never struggled like I did back then. Since then, that was like the worst of it. I was 14 years old. The world felt so awful, and my own personal world felt really awful. But you know what? Things have gotten a lot better since then, which I'm really grateful for. But yes, I was diagnosed with seasonal depression. I was on antidepressants for some time. And then I took myself off of them, which was probably not the best decision. I just stopped taking them. But again, I have not been medicated since. And I am hanging on, doing just fine, here talking to you guys. Another thing. So that same time that I was diagnosed with major depression, and it was seasonal major depression, I guess my therapist said, but I was also diagnosed with OCD, and I didn't really know what that meant, and I still don't fully know what that means, but I guess it's more so in a overthinking, like it's a very internalized thing. It's not something that like someone could look at me and be like, oh, she has OCD. This is me editing. Obviously, my therapist saw it in me, and that's why I got diagnosed. But now I think I'm seeing it in me doing this. It's freaking me out. Resume. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm very vulnerable right now sharing all of this, I guess. But I just wanted to share that because it brings me to my point of what I want to talk about, which is my recent obsessions, which the cold. has been one. So now I think you're getting the idea of why I'm outside. It snowed, it's cold, and I'm obsessed with the cold these days. So, with that being said, cold plunging. I want to share my rotation. I love going to the spa and I love having a great rotation. I go from sauna to cold plunge, back into the sauna, maybe the steam room, then the cold plunge, hot tub, back into the cold plunge, steam room, cold plunge. I love doing that. And I think that there's so many benefits. I made a little carousel on my Instagram, which was hot and cold. I was freezing, but it was hot. And I I posted a carousel talking about the benefits of like cold exposure, which I absolutely love. It really is like such a adrenaline rush, like a natural high. I actually feel like I might have taken drugs after I come out of the cold plunge or the cold shower, whatever it is. So that is my first thing I've been obsessed with, just cold exposure. Like coming outside when it's really cold outside, I can't get enough. I love it. Going to the spa and doing my rotation, I love it. I can't get enough. Also, cold shower, cannot get enough of a nice cold shower. I end every shower freezing cold for like the last 30 to 60 seconds. I increase, just how I'm feeling, how much I feel like I need the exposure. So that's a case by case basis, but I absolutely love that. It is a natural shock to the nervous system. Fun fact, I stopped vaping in June. I may or may not have had like a couple hits of a vape here and there from somebody else, but I actually stopped vaping in June. And that is something that June of 2024. So right now it's February 2025, if that tells you anything. But I stopped vaping, and that was a nasty habit that I would just like go back and forth with for years and years and years and years. And we are not vaping in 2025. Like, just stop it. We're killing ourselves. We don't even know what we're doing with these vapes. So it's better to just stop. Like, I am not smoking nothing from a vape anymore. Like, especially cannabis. Nope, not from a vape. Maybe raw. I don't know. But it's all on a case by case basis, but we're not vaping. We know that for sure. We are not vaping nicotine because we're better than that. And our health needs our attention. And it has it. My health has my full attention, mentally, physically, on all levels. And that's why I love the cold. So anything cold, putting it on my face, um, this can be taken out of context. I need to be careful with my words here. I love putting ice on my face, and I've been using these ice molds. I got them on Amazon. You can find them on my Amazon storefront if you want the exact ones, but you could also just search on Amazon like ice mold for your face. I think it will come up if you do that. But I fill these ice molds with water, and you pop them in the freezer and they freeze, and then they're this like perfect roll on to your face cold therapy, and it helps with like, oh no, dropped the phone in the snow. That's not good. It's cold therapy. It helps with inflammation. It helps with just a lot of things that I am not licensed to tell you about, but you can do a quick Google search. All I can tell you is that from my experience, it makes you feel really freaking good. Really good, and it makes you glow. It helps you look good. I genuinely just enjoy doing it for all the reasons, not really for the benefits, like of what's going on behind the scenes, like under the surface, but genuinely it just feels really good, and I crave the cold, and I crave those moments of like extreme cold. I just crave it. So that's why I do it. It's about how it makes me feel. When I got those ice molds, I started doing something which I am also obsessed with, which is speaking into my water. And now I was doing this traditionally with like my glass of water or like my water bottle that I would. We're in New York. We just got some New York sounds going on. It's okay. I would do this. I speak affirmations into my water. You might think I'm crazy. There is research and there is science behind it, which I am not prepared to share with you today, but I am just telling you to trust me and take my word for it. You could look up this guy. He's a doctor. He studied the frequency of water and the way it affects water when it's frozen, and even like ice, all the stuff, right? If you speak good words, the last episode I was telling you guys about spells, right? When we're talking, think about it. When we write things, we're spelling. We call it spelling. We're all casting spells all the time and you don't even know it. So imagine you were like consciously doing that and really paying attention to it and doing it on purpose. How cool would that be? So that's kind of what I started doing. I did this years ago, and I would just speak into my glass of water. I would pour water and I would speak into it and I would be like, I am so attractive. No, not actually. Maybe. I would be like, I am um what are some things? I've used it to lose weight. I've used it to just feel good about myself. I've used it to have glow. I would be like, I am glowing into my water, and then drink it, and then I'd be glowing. I would be like, I am going to this music festival, and then I would drink the water, and then sure enough, I was at that music festival. So that's what I would do. That's just how it goes, okay? So I would speak my affirmations into my water and then drink it. So when I started using this ice roller for my face with the ice mold roller on my face before the water would freeze, before I'd put it in the freezer, I started speaking my affirmations into it, because why not rub my frozen affirmations all over my face? Why not? What do I have to lose? Absolutely nothing. So I started doing that, and it actually looked so cool when I took it out of the freezer and I took the little cap off, like took the lid off the little guy, looked at it, and it looked beautiful. The frozen water was absolutely gorgeous. And it's because I spoke all these beautiful words into it, all my beautiful affirmations. And then I started rubbing it on my face. And can I tell you guys something? I've been feeling really good. Excuse me, I just burped. But I've been feeling really good since I started rubbing my affirmations on my face. So I think you guys should all try it, because it's worth trying. And it might not do anything for you. That's okay. It works for me, and I think more people should know about it. Definitely try it. And if you're not rubbing your affirmations on your face, you should be drinking your affirmations. Actually, though, you should be. My next obsession is thirst traps. Honestly, who doesn't love a nice thirst trap? What girl doesn't like getting hot, putting on something that makes her feel sexy, and taking photos with her friends or with herself? Whatever. Thirst traps are in for 2025. Tasteful thirst traps are in. Cold plunging is in. Going outside in bikinis when it's snowing is in. We make the rules. There's no one here to tell me I can't do that, especially when I have my own roof. When I have Having a private roof in New York City is a luxury. It is a luxury that I actually have taken for granted sometime that I've been here, and I am not doing that anymore. I don't care if it's snowing, I'm coming out here. I don't care if it's raining, I'm going to come out here. I don't care if the sun's shining. I'm going to come out here. I am not making excuses for myself to not enjoy this freaking luxury that I have of having a private outdoor space in New York City. I'm telling you guys, this is, if you know, you know. And if you don't, I'm telling you right now, this is a luxury that not a lot of people have. And I am so grateful that I have this space. So I'm going to use it. And I'm going to invite you out here to chat with me on my freaking roof, because it's lovely out here. Why not? And you get a pretty view. You get a pretty view. Look it. Yeah. Okay. So this is bringing me to my next thing that I wouldn't say I'm obsessed with, but I really have a balance with. I have my moments where I'm like fully into it and fully not, and that is self-love, self-care. And self-care does look like wearing things that make you feel hot and good, aka thirst traps. You document the documenting the moment where you're making yourself feel hot and good is the thirst trap. Like when you take that picture when you're feeling hot and good and you share that, then that's the thirst trap, right? They're in 2025. Girls are allowed to be hot. Girls are allowed to flaunt their stuff. Girls can do whatever makes them feel sexy. Hot girls are in for 2025, and any girl can be a hot girl. We're all hot girls. You just need to own it. You need to lean into it, put on the sexy outfit, put on the bikini, and go outside in the freaking winter. In the bleak of winter, go outside in your bathing suit. It's good for your nervous system. It's a natural shock to your nervous system. It's an adrenaline rush. What if someone sees you? That's crazy. No, it's really not crazy especially when you're posting it on Instagram. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm rambling now. But self-love is wearing things that make you feel good and hot and confident. And especially if there's a man out there that tells you you can't, or tells you like what you can and can't wear, get out of that situation right now. I've been there way too many times, and never again will I allow a man to tell me what I can and can't wear, especially like going out or doing something where like the event calls for wearing something hot, like a music festival, you know? I just love myself too much to put myself in a situation where I'll let a man dictate my wardrobe. Absolutely not. Self love is also being a grandma, which I did for so long at the end of 2024. I was actually a freaking grandma. Um, Early sleeps and drinking tea, not going out, declining the invitation, saying thank you, but no thank you, pausing my New York City nightlife because I needed to catch up on sleep. Because the first year I was here, I went to 80 shows, like 80 raves, 80 festivals. Like I included the festivals, I included like shows here, like smaller artists, bigger artists, like I included all of them because they all counted. I went to 80 of them, and I actually think I did more because that I stopped counting at the 80th show, and I went to a few more after that to finish off the year. And then New Year's Eve I went out. And I'm talking like going into 2024. I needed a break coming into this year. Like I needed a break to prepare myself for 2025 because I'm ready to go out again. I just needed a pause. I needed a break. I needed to chill out and be a grandma because that is self-love. Drinking tea, early sleeps, having your sleep hygiene on point is so important, especially if you're rubbing your affirmations on your face and then you're not getting enough sleep. They're not going to work. I'm just kidding. They totally can. I really believe that everything's an intention and you get what you believe. So if I believe that I can have a terrible sleep routine, rub my affirmations on my face, and have them all come true, they will. But I could also be delusional. It's all right. It's okay. No one's judging. I'm not judging. You might be judging, but I don't care because I can't see you. It would be so different if whoever's watching this was like directly in front of me. I don't know how that would go. Which I also wanted to just throw in a note here. I obviously am a small creator here. I'm a micro influencer, if you will. So I don't have like a team of people to help me with things. And especially when it comes to like editing content that I create, I'm doing it all. So there's something very humbling about editing your own content, especially when you're doing things like this, like just yapping away on the internet, because I have to watch it back like over and over again, and I have to edit the audio, and I cringe so hard at myself. And I also, like, the first few times I filmed these episodes, this is the first take and the only take for this episode, but the first episode I was overthinking it so much, and I put on this voice that like was my content creator voice, and I hate it. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't want to show up on the internet like that. But there's something that just like switches when I'm like when I press record and my voice sounds a little bit different, to where if you know me in real life, you'd be like, why is she talking like that? And I feel like also certain people bring certain sides of me out where like I might be a little more outgoing. I don't know. But moral of the story here is that I'm trying to just like not do that and speak to you like I am just talking to a friend, because I think I'll feel more comfortable that way. Like future me that has to listen to this over and over again to edit it for your ears to be blessed with this. So, where was I? Um Self-love. Yeah. So we talked about being a grandma. That's great. Getting inspired late night and letting it happen. There used to be this thing that I would do where, no, not used to be. It happens frequently. I get really inspired late at night, and then I would tell myself, like, just go to bed, like, take melatonin and go to bed. But no, something really fun happens when you get really inspired late at night, and instead of being like, no, say, like, be inspired tomorrow at 9 a.m. No, it's 11 p.m. You're inspired. Ride the wave. Just ride the inspiration wave, no matter what time it hits. It could be 2 o'clock in the morning. If I get inspired, I want to see it through. I want to know what is in this inspiration for me. There was one time, a couple years ago, more than a couple years ago, 2019. It was August, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I got super inspired and I was thinking about Hawaii. I made this whole Pinterest board of Hawaii, and I was looking at these blogs of like different restaurants and like places that you could go in Hawaii, specifically Kauai. And I was up for hours just searching all of this, and not intentionally, I made an entire itinerary for traveling to Kauai and Oahu, and I just rode with it. And then I'm sitting there like looking at all these photos and watching all these people's videos of them there, and I was just like, how much would it really cost? Like what would this actually look like? So then I'm on Airbnb, I'm looking at places, I looked at flights, like all this stuff, and it turns out it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Like I thought that it was like very unattainable and out of reach. And but I just had it there. I didn't make the decision then in that moment, but I had that night and I just stayed up all night thinking, researching, watching videos, looking at photos of Hawaii. And then you know what happened? A couple weeks later, I had really good nights at work. I was serving at the time. I had some really good nights, and I ended up being able to afford it. So I bought the trip. I bought the trip, and I was such a kind girl. I paid for the person I was with as well, and got us some like helicopter tours over the island of Kauai. It was incredible. I had such a good time until I didn't. That trip was also kind of a nightmare, which maybe I'll talk about one day. But I made the absolute most out of it with the situation I was in and the circumstances of what was going on. But that's where that led me. I also manifested my dream camera at the time into my world for the trip. Like I wanted to be in Hawaii with this specific camera so I could make a video and document it, and I wanted to experience it. I wanted to go surfing, and I did it all. I actually did. My life looked like the vision board I made that night in August. And it only took I went so that I had that night where I was really inspired in August, and it was about a few months later, it was December when I actually went, like the first week of December, last week of November, and I was there for like 14 days or something. It was like 2 weeks I was there. I was there for a while. I was there for a minute. That was like more than a vacation. That was a trip. And it was fun. Moving on. Dancing. Self-love is dancing literally anywhere. I will be at the subway stop and I might just be dancing. I'm dancing in my head. I'm dancing in real time, in the real world. I'm dancing. I love dancing. It can be like silly. Like sometimes I just get the zoomies and I'm just shaking around. That's self-love. Dance parties in your living room, dance parties while you're making breakfast, dance parties before bed, dance parties in your head while you're sleeping. That is self-love. Making yourself uncomfortable, like leaning into uncomfortable situations that you know will help you grow, that is self-love too. Okay? We're going to get into the last little segment here, which is what would Casey do? What would Casey do? I have a friend who said one day to me that whenever she had to make a decision, she would be like, "What would Casey do?" And it was kind of this joke, but then when I was trying to think of what I wanted to talk about today, I heard her voice and I was like, yeah, what would Casey do? And what are some situations that I've actually dealt with that I can maybe just share what I've done or what I would do now? So the first one is, what would Casey do if she was in a creative rut? Old Casey would have sulked in her sorrows, and she would have made excuses for herself, and she would have complained that she is stuck creatively and she doesn't know what to do with herself, and she's trying and it's not working, yada yada yada. What would Casey do now if she was in a creative rut? She would force creativity. She would force the creative juices. I'm doing a whole challenge with myself on my Instagram right now as a dancer to create more choreographies and to get out of my head and into my body by forcing creative juices. So that means telling myself at this moment, you're going to make something to this song on a playlist that I've been hoarding. I've been gatekeeping music for years now, songs that I added in 2021 that I'm like, I'm going to dance to this. And I never dance to it, but like my soul wants to. But I've just been like, oh, it's not the right time. No, that doesn't exist. So I'm forcing the creativity. I am creating a space. I'm telling myself at this day, at this time, in this moment, you're going to go do this and you are going to create something and you're not going to leave this room or this spot until you're done. And it's painful. It's really painful. But I feel like good things take your energy sometimes, like to build it, and not everything's going to be perfect, and it's okay to just like do it and hate it after if it's not good enough or whatever. But if I was in a creative rut, I would force inspiration in the most respectful way possible. What would Casey do if she was feeling behind in life? Old Casey would have compared herself to everyone around her and really put herself deeper in that hole. But new Casey, if she was feeling behind in life, she would stop consuming. She would get off social media. She would create a folder in her phone called distractions and put every app that she doom scrolls in said folder. And she would start creating something for herself. She would be doing something, whether it's like reading something or just going out in the world and doing real life. Like, it is so easy in this day and age to get sucked into our phones. Our phones are tools. Tools could be weapons or they could be useful, you know? You picking up what I'm putting down? So basically, I would stop consuming. I would do real life. I would take some time for myself to like focus on what's important, like my health, mentally, physically. I would stop paying attention to the people around me because we all need to focus on our own lives and our own lane and our own path, and everything else will fall in place as it should. As long as you're taking care of you, no one can take care of you the way you can take care of you. Only you know what you need. Only you know how to really get through those tough times. And it's okay to rely on the support of friends and family and the lovers you got around, but it's not okay to just completely let yourself go willy-nilly off the path, off the track that you are setting yourself on to be successful. And that's going to look different for everyone. Success is such a crazy concept. It doesn't mean money. It doesn't mean fancy, flashy things. Success really is like a feeling for me of feeling comfortable with being uncomfortable and like growing. And I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. If I was feeling behind in life, I would stop consuming, stop consuming other people's lives and start living my own. Really, it just comes down to that. What would Casey do if she was facing a big life decision? Old Casey would see a psychic. New Casey, what would Casey do? What would new Casey do if she was facing a big life decision? She would meditate. She would sit there for a few minutes with her eyes shut and she would think about all the possibilities of things that could happen. She would realize that everything's happening for her. So she would stop stressing immediately, feel no worry, and move forward with whatever felt right in her heart. And she would also remind herself that it's not that deep and things can be simple and things might feel hard right now, but they're leading you to where you're meant to go, trusting the process. And again, does the process know that we're trusting it? Did the process give us consent to trust it like this? Because I do be trusting the process a little too much sometimes, but I don't even know if that's possible. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. We're going to keep going. What would Casey do if she had a major setback? What would old Casey do if she had a major setback? She would spiral. She would freak out. She would overthink it. She would go down so many rabbit holes on trying to figure out why. what would new Casey do if she had a major setback? She would accept it. She would go back to overthinking it a little bit, and then she would be like, oh, wait, I'm not doing this again. And she would come back to acceptance, and she would move forward and create something new using all the strategies that I talked about in today's episode. She would go in some cold rooms. She would go in a cold room. She would go outside when it's cold. She would take a cold shower. She would fill the bathtub up with cold water and sit in it. She would take some ice out of the freezer and rub it on her face. But before she did that, she would speak how amazing and beautiful life can be if she chooses to look at it that way, through that lens, into the water before she put it in the freezer and then rubbed said ice affirmations on her face. Okay, that's really it. I think that's all I have for today. This is going to be a fun journey. I'm excited to share more. I'm excited to just chat and yap. I I thank you for listening. If you feel like sending this in your group chat, just do it. Just go for it. I'll take the listens. I appreciate you for being here. No, I have more confidence than that. I'm really excited for this chapter in all seriousness, and I'm excited to share more of me with you and connect deeper because I love connecting with my community, you guys. I really truly do. Um, you see the drones up there? I don't know if you can. Yeah, life is truly a gift. It's a blessing, and it's our job to make the most of it. Life is what you make it, so let's make it rock. Okay, Hannah Montana. All right. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, tune into the next one and follow along on the journey. Like, subscribe, share it with a friend that you feel like might find interest in this. Who knows? Go outside in some cold weather or get in a cold shower, go to a spa and get in some cold pools. Do what you got to do. I hope that you have a beautiful moment wherever you are, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.